Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back. Take 2 or 3.
Yeah. Please do subscribe to both channels, EEARTS and also Evolutionary Energy Arts. Each one does have unique videos. We try to get a video up a day on both channels, though some days it's tougher than others. We couldn't do it without your guys' support over on Patreon and also on Ko-Fi, where you could do one-time support or you could do monthly support just like on Patreon and help us keep making these videos to wake up the world. And here we see something we touched on before. We're talking about how many governors are not going to make it easy for the federal government when they don't agree with what's happening. Well, here we see Missouri sheriffs, 24 of them, resisting the FBI's concealed carry weapons audit. 24 different counties audited, different sheriff's departments. Why? Well, they want to see who has a concealed carry permit. They want to audit it. To me, it's just me. That makes me awful suspicious. It really, really does. Hey, Missouri, you're doing something good by your citizens. 24 audited, all 24 refused to comply.
And that's exactly what we need to do. We need to check out situations like this, see what they're doing, because we don't want to make their job easy. We've made it easy enough by just simply the devices we use, the internet, all of these other things that we have to get registered, our cars, get our driver's license. They have it easy enough. Let's not continue to give our freedoms away. Hoorah to them.
Yeah, if you want to online, pay your taxes online, you're going to need to show a digital ID, and you're going to have to take a selfie where they can see your iris. This is part of going to that next stage. Now, I don't know about you, but how many people do you think want to voluntarily pay your taxes for you? Hello, there's something else going on here. So as far as these sheriff's departments go, they did answer procedural questions, but nothing giving any specific information about anybody that has concealed carry. And again, I'm just sharing with you what I think. And what I think is this is all about making life easy for the new government that comes into effect here in the U.S., which many people are taking part of knowingly, many unknowingly. And it's kind of like that, I was thinking of a Christmas song, you better not shout, you better not cry.
Yes, heard of that.
Do you know why?
Why?
Well, the CCP is coming to town.
That's the most charming song. I love it.
They're making a list, checking it twice.
Yeah, and we're giving them our names if we put ourselves out there. We need to stop doing that.
Yes, they're going to find out who's got concealed carry or not.
Not if we can help it.
That didn't rhyme, but what the hell? You guys get the picture. And as we said, this is a Trojan horse operation that's well underway. It's going to another part in the planning. So here we see Thailand and Indonesia sign weather modification cooperation deal. Boy, that's just coming out of the woodwork. Hey guys, whoever's in charge of Wikipedia, that chemtrail conspiracy theory, yeah, I think it's time to ditch that. Yeah, we have like dozens and dozens of nations now just talking about modifying weather, spraying the skies.
I know, we're looking like we're the third world country, as if it's a big shocker over here when we get those Wiki stickers.
And the farmers are still going at it, even if the mainstream's not talking about it, as we see going on in the Netherlands, also in Spain, other farmers joining in, because they're going to basically, we were talking about the IRS and how they're going to be auditing to death small businesses, medium businesses, anybody that doesn't go along with the, whatever it is they want to give us, really. If you go against the system, it's going to penalize you. And here they're taking away farmers' livelihoods. They're going to take away their family farms. This is ridiculous. We cannot allow this. If we allow this, then, shame on us.
It's true. It's really true. We have options now, and we really need to use them.
So the recent droughts in Europe once again made visible by the hunger stones in some Czech and also German rivers. These stones were used to mark desperately low river levels that would end up equating to basically famines. This one in the Elbe River is from 1616 and says, "If you see me, cry."
Oh, that's bad.
Absolutely. German shipper is going to halt the Rhine operations. We've been watching this and seeing, a steady progression towards basically shutting down shipping. And here you go. Water levels drop below critical. So, this is going to just impact the whole supply chain over there even more. And again, do what you can to get as self-sufficient as you can, whatever that looks like.
Very important now, you guys.
So here we see Germany at risk of mass unrest. Protests over the plague upon the land curbs are going to feel like a kid's birthday party compared to what's ahead. So said a senior security official. Wait to the fall. Wait to the fall. Wait to the fall. That's what we've been just getting constantly. September 21st is the fall equinox. It's also the International Day of Peace, and it's also like a time frame. Doesn't mean that exact day, although that exact day something could happen. They do things at the most opportune times astrologically. So it's an equinox. Again, anytime you're changing the season, anytime there's changes to the Earth's movement and rotation, taking advantage of new energies, they understand all this. They understand the programming of the matrix, so they always try to take advantage of it for their own agendas. And their agenda is basically you will own nothing. And, they don't really care if you're happy about it or not.
No, they pretend that they care, but really they don't. And they do take advantage of these energies. They use it as their personal momentum, but we can too.
And in Germany, the search for firewood has exploded. People are seriously realizing they're going to have to go to alternative sources to keep themselves warm. And again, you can, as we were talking to one of our family members, hey Mark, who's living in a very warm tropical location, about 11 degrees, I believe, north of the equator, maybe even less than that, but looking to go to Nepal, which is going to be very high elevation, and boy, the winters there are what we would certainly call at least brisk, more than brisk. Mm-hmm. But like he said, he's lived there before. He said you just keep putting on more clothes. And, we did spend the winter, not last winter, but the winter before last, in New Mexico, basically with just a tiny little portable space heater that's about a foot tall and maybe 9 inches wide. But because the house was constructed going down into the ground with a bank of windows to the south, no windows to the north, and just one to east and west, also earthen construction, it never dropped below 55 degrees, whether we were heating it or not. So, during the day, we'd notch it up a little bit. At night, it would get down to 0, and it would still be about 55 degrees. And we were just fine. And again, I don't even think that was life-threatening in our situation because we had very, 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 what would you call them? We call them wubbies.
Oh, yeah.
Wubbies. They look
wearable wubbies.
Wearable wubbies, like a wearable blanket, but real thick and plush, literally like what you would see Santa dressed in, which I would go out and meditate when the snow's coming down with just that on, basically, and you wouldn't even be remotely cold. That thing was amazingly warm. Of course, it had a hood and long sleeves, and you could kind of keep your hands from ever being exposed. You could put your feet Indian leg style, and, it was amazing. People survive in the Arctic. Look at the people that are living up in the Arctic. It can be done. It's just that when we're used to all the conveniences, then you take those conveniences away, and if you're absolutely clueless, if you haven't done any homework, if you haven't prepared, it can be deadly.
Shocking, the body, the system, the mind, it all goes into a form of shock, and it stops functioning in a flowing way.
And you would think we're in Germany today. But again, so many of the articles seemed geared that way, but they are appropriate to us in other countries. Forget inflation, shrinkflation is sparkling. Well, it's not sparkling. It's sparking a fury in Germany. Yeah, and I've noticed this. Like cheeses that I used to buy, grated cheeses that were always, well, shoot. I mean, it seemed like the packages were 16 ounce, then they went to 12 ounce, then they went to 8 ounce. Now they're 6 ounces. Next thing they're going to be 5 ounces.
Yep.
And you're like, well, the price stayed the same, but yeah, I'm getting, less than half.
And a lot of times the price goes up.
Yeah, it certainly does. Thousands of homes run out of water, and firms send dire texts warning of more shortages as parts of the UK officially plunge into drought, with shops rationing water, supplies to stop panic buying amid 95-degree Fahrenheit heat. Forecasted to hit close to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 37 Celsius over the weekend. And so, rationing water, you're seeing it. You're seeing the drought areas. Britons have been told to avoid baths and have short showers, put less water in the kettle. Oh my God, the nerve of them. Where is there any real need for this in a world with so much weather modification, geoengineering? I think it's pretty obvious that the engineering's being done not to ease the drought, not to ease the places that are flooding. It's just so obvious, guys. We understand the program here.
Mm-hmm. I know it does get old when, you keep looking at the same thing. They keep doing the same things. And it's like, okay, we know, and they just keep doing it over and over. It just gets old.
And then you got farmers saying that some crops are tinder dry, and there's a lot of risk for fires spreading. And then, of course, not just in the U.S. do we have an illegal immigration problem, and I'm personally not worried about the average person that wants to migrate. It's those people that have different agendas that are really sleepy cellular units, as we've been talking about. Vegas slammed with another flash flood. More casinos have rainwater pouring in off the roofs. The entire Strip suffered major water damage on Thursday night. Look at that flooding. Again, in Vegas, you don't tend to think about this, but yeah, it does get that way. And Cindy, has lived in the greater Vegas area, so to speak, within 100 miles anyway, for 25 years, I think you were there?
A while. And, we've seen this at least one other time, possibly twice. But yeah, I mean, the whole place flooded, and it's because all this rain comes down. The ground is not made to absorb that much water, so it just goes right through whatever it needs to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we saw massive evidence of just insane water flows in the desert. Mm-hmm. But, the state that seems to me to be like getting hammered the most, really, it feels like Texas. And when I'm watching this map, and this is from the 11th, this drought monitor looking at Texas. D4, that's exceptional. That's that brownish area. D3 is extreme. I don't know. I mean, between the red and the brown, I think that looks like 75-80% of Texas, don't you think?
It looks pretty bad. Yeah, a lot.
It sure is. Now, over in this area, this is not where you usually think of it being dry. I mean, Texas is really, it's not all the same, obviously. When you're out in the dry areas, it's desert. It's desert. Of course, you have plains as well in some spots up by Oklahoma. But when you're over here, it's lush. It's more like, it's like Louisiana. It's like Mississippi. Even feels like Alabama. It's lush. But that's all drying up too right now. And if we go back just to take a peek at the total map, you could see that's extending in a lot into Oklahoma as well. Look at Oklahoma here. It looks like close to 50% under extreme drought in Oklahoma as well. So, the drought it does seem like it's heading more towards the central part of the U.S. And of course, you still have a ton of Nevada, almost all of Utah, a big 2/3 of California, still under extreme and exceptional. Arizona looks like it's lightening up a bit, and New Mexico looks like it may be lightening up a bit as well. But again, things can always change pretty quick with all this engineering. Extreme drought in Somalia displaces more than 1 million people. Yeah, the Horn of Africa is in trouble, and this is killing livestock, killing crops. This is the area that will probably see famine first, as far as massive amounts of people suffering from famine. So let's send our prayers out that way and do some rain dances. 38 people killed, historic buildings, scores of homes collapse after heavy rains hit Yemen. It's one or the other. It's one or the other. It's pick your poison. Drought and fires, or floods. And over here we see this is over in the Pakistan-Afghanistan area, and also on the border with India. As you see, 434 people lose their lives in Balochistan and Sindh. It's all over the world. We're seeing these crazy events go on. I mean, I just remember when we first started seeing the cars piling up because of floodwaters, it was incredulous. Now it's like, oh, there's just another. It's just, another day here during the tribulation. Yeah, and this is in Italy, by the way. Just massive, massive floods. In China as well, sweeping cars away. Several people missing. And in the West, we're slowly watching, Lake Powell and Lake Mead, and watching them carefully and hoping that it doesn't get to be dire over there, because then you got 40 million people that their lives depend on those reservoirs. And now here's another one. Eggs from backyard hens contain 40 times more lead, researchers warn. Yeah, that's because you want to buy the WEF brand of eggs.
They're always going to keep shelling us this information about, oh no, don't do anything for yourself. It's too dangerous. And that's why they have to have all these food laws in place. And thank goodness for the FDA. They're going to keep you from getting sick, because they have all these special things where they package stuff and it's inspected, and, all just to take your power away for you to feed yourself.
Yeah, well, I mean, we could think back to the Irish famine, when you'd have officials coming over from England and just loading whatever meager crops that were gathered by the people, spending their time, their effort, and everything they have trying to grow food so that they don't die, and just taking it from them. This has happened in the past, and we've talked about Holodomor as well with Stalin and what happened there. This is just, it's insanity, but it's the system. And again, when you have people at the very top that only care about themselves and are so power hungry and control hungry, it's not going to work. This is why you can't fix this system. This system's beyond repair. There's no repair in the system. There has to be a totally, totally different way. And, share what you guys think would be a possibility. To me, I see, for one thing, I think people put into positions of authority, to me, I would view it as there could be no pay associated with it. There has to be no financial gain that they could have from it, because that leads to corruption. Now, in some way, shape, or form, making sure that nobody starves, including your selected officials, so to speak, would obviously be something that would have to be worked out. But just think about how it works. Here we have Pelosi making tons of money on insider trading. We see Liz Cheney, her net assets go up like 600% since she's come into politics. Sure, they might have a salary that's dwarfed by like a basketball player in the NBA, a football player in the NFL, but at the same time, they have other benefits and access to other venues and ways of making wealth, and they associate themselves with other insiders. They get all sorts of information. It's a rigged system. And it's not just in the U.S. We know this is a global rigged system. So we'd have to have a whole different class of people. Anybody that is in politics today that's in it because of ego and greed and power, all these things, they wouldn't be people we want in the first place. We need people with true wisdom, people with compassion, with hearts that really want to better all of society, a totally different type of person.
Mm-hmm. And you know what I think is so interesting too is lately what's been going on is when I do someone's chart, these charts are of people who truly could be part of a brand new system, who really could be part of an up and coming possible system that we could create for ourselves, because you can tell the difference between someone who's going to be a judge, who's going to be a crooked judge, or they're going to be a fair judge. You can tell if someone is an old soul, you know, how much fairness is in them. And so many people that I work with and I look at their charts, I mean, they're old souls. And yes, they could be very much part of a good, positive political system. And I even had one where it looked like his son was really lined up for a whole new way of living. So we definitely have the numbers. We just need to apply.
Yeah, it would have to be something with term limits too. You can't have people like Lindsey Graham and, you know, Pelosi and Schumer and, you know, Harry Reid and all these people that are career politicians just leeching off of others for decades after decades. That couldn't be, you know, it'd have to be like 1 year and out, something like that. It would have to be very, very limited. Maybe they could come back in 3 or 4 or 5 years time, or in a different sort of advising, be an advisor or something like that. But you'd have to have a totally different system that would give the people the flexibility that if things are not going right, they could remove those in charge easily and at the drop of a hat. Mm-hmm. You know, because we get stuck with these agendas. And the reality is, you know, this has all been, as we were looking at the last video, this has all been one big drama. You know, it's like, all right, action. There you go. And then, you know, like we were showing over in Ukraine where the people come running, oh my God, ah. Yeah, you know, people are getting killed in Ukraine, obviously. And there was World War II, and there are, you know, all these wars never ending and these great atrocities. Yet when you look at it, it stays in the family. When you look at the Bush family, 2 presidents coming from the Bush family, Prescott Bush, who I believe he was a senator, which, you know, is a powerful position as well. And then you look at IG Farben, and it's a company that made blood money off misery, suffering. Ford, and this has gotten demonetized by now, I'm sure. You know, Ford Motor Company, you know, made profits off of concentration camp labor. Hello. This stuff cannot happen. No. The whole system is a total wreck and must go. And this is worldwide, and it will go. We need to make sure it's sooner than later. A lot less misery that way. So grocery prices increased 13.1% in July. You can see airfare way up there, 44%. Transportation, furniture, new vehicles. Congratulations on the new vehicle, John.
Yay, congrats.
And grocery inflation is actually at the highest level in 43 years. And yet, what did he say? 46 said that there was zero inflation last month. Wait a minute. You said zero? When does 13.1% equal zero? I think he needs to go back to school.
Well, you know, give or take. Minor details.
It's just insanity. This is the doublespeak. This is the state a lie to your face, and you know it's a lie. Everybody knows it's a lie, but they still state it.
You know, it's almost like we're kind of numb to it now. It's that deadening of the senses of shock and awe.
BlackRock is ready to, and Vanguard, they're ready to just buy up everybody's house as soon as you foreclose, and then they're going to rent them back to you. And, maybe you were going to have a mortgage, let's just say $1,000. Well, the rent will be $1,800 or $2,000. This is how they just continually get richer. Now, you won't own anything. They're going to own everything. The median rent's $2,000 a month. That's insane. That is just insane. Look at Miami. $24.88 is the median rent over there. It's just crazy. It's crazy. What these prices, when we look back through history and we see, like, say, go back to Leave It to Beaver generation, when there was only one person typically working, and yet they were spending so much less on a roof over their head in proportion with just one person working than a family of two working. Now, where has all the money gone? It's gone to the billionaire class, which just keeps growing. Workers at the second largest aluminum mill in America, accounting for 20% of U.S. supply, learned they were losing their jobs because the plant can't keep the electricity on, because it's tripled in a matter of months. If there was a war to break out, America, the U.S., would not be able to fight it long. For one, so much of the factories have been sent abroad. Where did so many of them go? So many went to China. Who's the U.S. going to fight? China, Russia, North Korea, Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, probably Pakistan, Iran, and probably Saudi Arabia too, because they're starting to jump over on that side too. It's an ever-growing list. And this U.S. has been hamstrung on purpose, yet they still want to manufacture that war. It's the nails in the coffin that they're intending to give to this old world order in order to bring about the new world order.
Yes, it is.
$20 million pound yacht goes up in flames a month after being delivered. So, this is off the west coast of Spain. Beautiful area. No injuries. What caused it? Don't really know. But, the guy that owns it owns 19 restaurants in Italy. Interesting. Monaco's ambassador for tourism. Yeah, I think a lot of the politicians might be discovering their super yachts are going to go on fire at some point in time. There's a direct correlation between hunger, misery, and unusual fires.
And people being angry.
And we were talking yesterday, I was saying I just got this feeling there's going to be some power outages shortly, and there you go. Major power outage struck downtown Toronto. Over half of Toronto was totally shut off. And they say it was because a boat completely wiped out some of these towers and took it all down. And, that's kind of curious. And you got to wonder how many acts of, maybe the guy's a little bit oxygen deprived. Maybe it was a whoopsie. Or maybe it was one of those sleepy cellular units in place getting ready.
I was thinking, one of those accidents that starts with the V.
I would not be surprised. Not at all. Now, this is potentially deadly. 124 degree temperatures and the power grid shuts down. This was in Iraq. That's scary. The grid going out. Can you imagine the grid going out in Phoenix, say the whole area between Phoenix and Vegas for a prolonged period of time in a summer month?
That would be bad.
Absolutely. Some areas, again, are almost unlivable if it was not for all the conveniences that we have. Oh, the UK accidentally made a ban on edible insect farming, but they quickly reversed it. Because they do want you having your grasshopper burger.
Yeah, for sure. They're just looking out for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Your larva ice cream.
Oh, yummy. Oh, and I've heard of cockroach milk.
Yes, and there is such a thing as cockroach milk. Absolutely. Do you know the more that you exercise intensely, the bigger and stronger your brain grows, even in old age. Absolutely, you can definitely protect against cognitive decline. And I'll share with you too, just intentionally breathing in a very conscious manner so that you know that you're taking in the life force. Most of us breathe shallow. And if I've done this a million times, like in person, where I'll ask people to take a deep breath for me. And the first thing you see is their chest goes up. And that's not a deep breath. That's not a proper breath. If you want to live long and healthy, you have to learn how to abdominally breathe again like a baby. Because abdominal breathing will massage the kidneys. It'll help the organs to relieve themselves of any toxins. It also moves our, food along, so to speak. And it doesn't cause us to get into the fight or flight response. Because, basically your autonomous nervous system is kind of it's a switch that's just a two-way switch. And you're either in fight or flight or rest and digest. The more you're in rest and digest, the more your body can fix itself, and the more you will be producing serotonin and melatonin. When you're in fight or flight, your adrenals are going. It's like you're burning the candle at both ends. And you will not be able to fully heal like you could. Again, mind, body, breath exercises can do wonders as well. There's been so many studies on Tai Chi and the benefits of Tai Chi, the benefits of meditation. But yes, combine it with some cardio. Absolutely. Combine it with, if you're able to and you're not, you don't have bum knees or whatever. I mean, I loved playing basketball. Great cardio. And time would pass so fast. Whatever it is that you like to do, get out there and get that blood pumping.
Learn how to psych yourself up. Learn how to pull inspiration into you. So, it helps if you can get excited about something. So even if these days you can go online and look at, the benefits of exercise to the brain, just read all those benefits and it just kind of gets you more and more jazzed. So whatever you're wanting to do in life, surround yourself with that inspiration and it'll really give you that spark. Speaking of spark, there is a really good book called Spark, and it's full of really good information about how much exercise and oxygen can really truly help the brain and heal in a million different ways.
So they also found that when you're talking about the elderly, moderate activity can do amazing things. 15 to 20 minutes, a moderate level intensity exercise can protect against neurodegradation. And so, that's a wonderful way to keep our cognitive functions growing, at least staying the same and hopefully growing. And these times with all the energies coming in, I would say growing. Your body needs the oxygen to power the mitochondria. These are your power plants in your cells. Absolutely. They require tons of oxygen. This is another thing too, with people that end up having sludgy blood, it's going to lower the mitochondria's output. This is going to lead to lethargy. This is going to lead to inactivity. This is going to lead to neural cognitive decline. Again, everything that we see going on in this world right now has many different layers to it. And when we were talking about people having accidents that start with a certain letter, the letter starts for victory. Yeah, well, absolutely. Because we've seen there are certain people now that do have this sludgy blood and they literally are oxygen deprived. So that's going to also speed up aging. Speed up physical deterioration, destroy the immune system, lower your ability to fight off all sorts of diseases. Again, one of the best practices you can implement, and everybody needs to, take account their own specific conditions. Like obviously, if you were somebody that was clinically obese and on a very, very poor diet, and you do have diabetes, hypoglycemia, then starting fasting can be very, very challenging or dangerous. So again, you always want to ease into something new, but fasting, intermittent fasting, super powerful. super powerful for allowing our bodies to purge themselves. So this is facial reconstruction of Ramses II. This is the pharaoh of Egypt from about 3,300 years ago. Interesting facial reconstruction. Robert Seffers talks so much about why do we have people with either blonde or red hair and Caucasian features in spots where you wouldn't think they would be. Again, it has to do with Atlantis in my mind. It has to do with all the cataclysms that happened and people that scrambled to go elsewhere where their homes were perhaps completely submerged in the ocean.
I have a whole lot of information going on.
Absolutely. And look at these guys. This is their entertainment. They're watching the birds out there. The birds are all up and happy with the plants out there. And look at that audience. I hope you guys are as riveted as they are.
They are just so enamored.
Absolutely. And this little guy, this is the way we should be walking every day. Look at how happy he is. He's just strutting his stuff. It's like, happy day, happy day, happy day. I'm so happy. It's a good day. I'm going to get a bone today.
Happy trails to you. He's adorable. You know, Sita, she kind of prances around like that. She high steps it. She's so adorable.
That's going to be all of us when we're singing ding dong, the witch is dead, the wicked witch. Now, I'm not talking about Nancy. I'm talking about the system.
Yeah, the system.
The entire system. When the system is gone, when the WEF is no more, when it's all gone, we're all going to be pouncing around like this little guy. It's a good day.
I know. He's adorable.
And if you're able to, be in that place where you could cut yourself off from the rest of the world, you might be prancing like that today.
He definitely has purpose.
Absolutely. So do we. So, keep sharing the love, keep sharing the knowledge, keep speaking up. We will not go quietly into the night. We are going to watch a new world dawn, and it's not there, NWO.
That's right.
As always, God bless and namaste.
Namaste.